recorded a video. The camera almost fell. Just recorded a video. Had a great time making it. I'm in a good mood. Today's been a damn good day. So I want to go ahead and pump out another one here. So if you haven't checked out my last one, I kind of touched on what you're going to feel like when you come off Kratom. If you're a heavy user, you've been using it for a while, what I personally felt. So if you haven't checked it out, go back and look at that video. I'd appreciate it. Great news is, and I think I talked about this before, we will no longer, soon, we won't be in this temporary home that we're in right now. You know, this was just a temporary spot, and even with today's housing market, we were able to get a brand new home. We were blessed to have it. Me and my wife worked very hard, and we want to give ourselves something great. So I will no longer have this crappy background in my videos. I do plan to still make them because I have a lot of information that I want to get out, and I feel like I'm actually making a difference. At least one person's gonna see it, and I'm gonna help them. And I get the comments from you guys, and you guys are freaking awesome. I love it. You can ask my wife. I'm gonna bring her on here again, and she's gonna say every time I get a comment and I'm able to reply back, because I reply back to every comment. It excites me, you know. It's giving me something to look forward to when I pump these videos out. So whether or not people actually like them, I'm just hoping I'm here to help. I'm hoping that I help somebody. That's it. So anyway, regardless of the location, I'm still gonna be a meathead with a shitty iPhone camera. So it is what it is. I'm sorry, production is low. But what I wanted to touch on is Kratom extracts, how I got into them, and the dangers of them, and what they can do to your tolerance. And if you don't know, this is how it goes. So I never touch Kratom extracts, mainly because of the price. When I first started taking Kratom, I heard about them, didn't hear any dangers about them, but I heard about them, and I just wanted to stay away from them because of how much they cost. So I steered clear for years. I think it was up until year 4, year 5 is when I got my first Kratom extract. I was doing an expo for Redcon One at a supplement store. Grand opening, I believe it was. We were running a booth. It was a couple hours out of town. Me and my wife drove up, and you know, you meet a lot of cool people at these expos, a lot of cool supplement companies and vendors, and just really good people who mean well. And I met a guy out there, and he was running it was for water, flavored water. I'm not going to throw their name out there. That's the booth he was running. It's a really good company, actually, but I'm not going to plug them in here because of what I'm going to say next. But we were talking back and forth, and I don't remember how it got brought up, but Kratom somehow got brought up. And he says, I'm affiliated with another company, and I believe they're out of Nevada. And he said that, you know, he hands these out of these expos too. And I was like, well, what do you got? And he gave me a whole case of Kratom extract shots. And I'm like, no way, that's freaking awesome. Thank you, man. I'm gonna try it out. So I tried it out, and man, did it work. And especially because we were at an expo and there's, you know, hundreds and hundreds of people. I was talking up a storm. If you've taken Kratom, you know what I'm talking about, where you just won't shut up. So I was doing all that. I was talking. I was in a good mood. It was hot outside. I didn't care. It was great. So I talked to him again and said, hey, man, at that time, believe it or not, I wanted to reach out to that company and see if I can be an affiliate with them and see if I can make some money, because I know everybody who was taking Kratom back then, and I could probably, you know, get them linked up and, you know, get a discount code or whatever, what have you. And I'm so glad I didn't. I'm so glad I didn't. But anyway, so after that, my plan, addict brain, because I looked up the prices on them, and those were, I think, $7 or $8 a shot. And how I thought to justify to use them is because at that time I was working a 7 on, 7 off schedule. I was working 84 hours straight, and then I would have 7 days off, and I could work overtime if I needed to. So that was my schedule. And what I wanted to use those extracts for were for days that I needed to go and work overtime. It was like an incentive to work overtime. Like, okay, well, I'm going to take this extract to go work overtime, and it's going to get me through the day. And it did. Did that for a while. And then I was justifying it more. I was okay, well, today I want to learn. I want to try and do something different that freaking sucks, but I need to get it done anyway. So let's take extracts on those days. And you justify that stuff. And then before you know it, I have cases and cases of these because they have a BOGO sale, and I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah, let's stock up. It's not expensive anymore. Let's take these however much we want. And then I remember going to a smoke shop out of town, and we ran into some of their extracts. I went into a smoke shop. It was my first smoke shop I've ever been into, believe it or not. I didn't go into one until about a year and a half. It's actually been 1 year because we went school shopping for my son a year ago, and that was my first ever smoke shop I've ever been into. So I walk in. I think I had my wife with me too. We walk in, and I had asked about them, and she pointed them out, and she gave me one. It was like $18, and me and her were going back and forth about it. She's like, "Yeah, I have people who come in here every single day, and they'll buy 2 or 3 of these at a time. And it's the same people." I'm like, "Wow, they're spending that much money on Kratom?" And she's like, "Yeah, they're hooked on it." And I'm like, "Yeah, me too." But I was justified. I'm like, I'm hooked on the powder. I'm not hooked on these extracts. So I ended up taking that extract, and I felt really good for a little bit. But that was the only time I actually felt Kratom. The Kratom feeling was when I took the extract. The powders weren't doing anything anymore. So I'm like, shoot, I just messed up my tolerance even more, because I would take a Kratom extract shot, and the next day I'd be playing catch up all day long with the powder to try to keep from the restlessness. So, extracts. I had fun with this. When I went to detox, I had 2 brand new cases, 24 of the little shooters. I opened and dumped every single one of those into that toilet, except for one. I shouldn't say every single one, except for one. I dumped them in the toilet, flushed them down the drain, and threw them in the trash can. Along with my powder, I did dump most of that too down made like a sludge bowl in my toilet and flushed it all. I did keep one extract because that's when I went to detox. They wanted me to not come in withdrawing. They wanted me to come in with the Kratom in my system and feeling okay. That way they can treat my symptoms as they come up, which made sense. So I remember I stopped by I don't know why I did it this way. I really don't. But I stopped by a Circle K to use a restroom. I was like 4 miles out from the detox center. And I had that little shot. And I remember just looking at it, and it would make my heart just race. And I'm like, this is the last bit of Kratom I'm ever going to have. But then I started having a little bit of doubts in my head. Like, is this really going to be it? Like, am I going to take this, go to detox, it's not going to work, and then I'm going to be back on it? You know, you get those things in your head because I've had failed attempts in the past. Luckily, this wasn't one of them. But so I went to the bathroom. I took it real quick, and then used the restroom. And then that was my last dose, was a Kratom extract. But what I'm getting at here with this long rant is, if you haven't taken a Kratom extract, don't, because your tolerance is going to be stupidly high, especially if you jump to the Kratom extract. If you start with Kratom powder and graduate to that, that is what it is. But if you start with a Kratom extract and you don't take any of the Kratom powder, you can't really go to the Kratom powder after that. You're stuck on the extract. Your tolerance is up here now instead of down here with the powder. And another thing, this is one that really gets me. At all my gas stations down here, I'm not going to say the name of the freaking gas. It's a very common gas station, but all of them down here in Arizona, at least, they have Kratom. They used to have Kratom behind the counter, like in a glass case. You have to ask the cashier for it. Now you don't have to ask anybody for it. It's out front where the gum is at. We even saw one, and I got really mad about this one. We went and saw one in Tucson, Arizona. Me and my wife and my son were up there, and we were at Circle K. We were getting waters and energy drinks, and I saw them. They were out front, in the very front. And the way they advertise these things, I know you guys have seen them if you have seen them. A big old K on them. One of them says for instant relaxation. One of them says for mood boosting. One of them says for energy now, things like that. And all it is Kratom extract. Every single one of them is Kratom extract in a little shot. Doesn't say anything about it does say you have to be 18 years old to consume it, but it doesn't say anything about it being addictive. Nothing. So if you're going in and you're going to go buy a 5-hour energy shot, and you're like, hey, that looks good, instant mood boosting, I want to try that. Then what are you going to do? You're going to take that, you're going to feel it, you're going to feel great, not knowing anything about Kratom. Let's be honest, most people don't do research on anything before they take it, especially if you buy it from a reliable source like a gas station. You know, you're not going to think nothing bad about that. It's not a drug. You're not going to think anything about it before you take it. Before you know it, you're taking it every day. You're like, well, that made me feel good. I'm going to take it every day. Let me turn this off real quick. Sorry, I had a message. You're going to end up taking it every day, and then before you know it, you're addicted to it, and you have to take it every day, or else you're going to feel restless, and then before you know it, you're blowing your whole check on them every day. It sucks. I don't care what anybody says. Kratom is addictive, and you can get caught in the Kratom pickle if you take it every day, if you abuse it. I'm not saying if you don't abuse it, you might be okay. Take it once or twice a week, 5 grams here, 3 grams there, you might be okay. I don't know what's going to happen to you. But for me, I took it. I loved the way it made me feel. I reached out to the internet, didn't see nothing bad about it, didn't see nothing about it being addictive. Top YouTube people I was subscribed to at that time, if you're into the fitness stuff, Tony Huge, Enhanced Labs, Mark Bell, and even you could even look up what's his name? Joe Rogan even has some podcasts where he takes Kratom. And I'm thinking, okay, well, all these people are taking it, no big deal. But then when I took it, loved how it made me feel, taking it multiple times a day, taking it every day, and before you know it, I'm addicted to it. Body can't go without it. So my fault for abusing it, I guess. But there still should be some transparency out there. Don't abuse this product. Don't take it every day. It wasn't out there at that time. Rant over. I got shit to do.